Hello and welcome to the Supercast. I'm your host, Superintendent Anthony Godfrey. They call themselves the Silverwolf Caucus. These three former Riverton High School students are all now representatives in the Utah State Legislature. On this episode of the Supercast, State Representatives Candice Pierucci, Ashlee Matthews, and Jordan Teuscher returned to Riverton High for the first time since they graduated. Find out what they learned from their time as students, what advice they have for current student body officers, and why Riverton High is still near and dear to them today. We are here at Riverton High School with what we are calling the Silverwolf Caucus. We have three of our state representatives here who are former students here at Riverton High. I'm going to let each of them introduce themselves, and we have a couple of members of our current student government here as well to ask you some questions. But let's start out with introductions.
I'm Representative Candice Pierucci, and I graduated class of 2010.
I'm Representative Ashlee Matthews, and I graduated in 2004.
Yep, and Representative Jordan Teuscher, I graduated class of 2002, so 2002. Yeah.
Yeah, time flies. Time flies.
Forgot how we say that.
And you brought some swag with you, I see. You
Yes.
have some memorabilia from when you were here.
Yes.
Representative Pierucci, show me what you have there.
I lettered in academics, and I was FBLA's vice president.
Let's lay it out on the table here.
Well,
Let's
it's
see that.
in the bottom of the memory box, so I can't promise it doesn't have some fuzzy
That's
things
okay.
on it, and I'd taken off all my pins. And then I was Sterling Scholar for Social Studies.
Wow. Sterling Scholar for Social Studies, Vice President. That is very cool. That is very cool. Does this look familiar? That's kind of
They're
very close.
Same guys.
Yeah.
These things
Wow.
don't ever change.
That is. That's very close.
Timeless. Taxes, debts, and your leather jacket. Those are all the same.
Very nice. All right. And Representative Teuscher, who I must mention, changed flights, missed some major events, and came right from the airport to be part of this. So thanks to all three of you for going to the effort of making this work in your schedule. I know you're very, very busy.
I wouldn't miss it. You know, we all love Riverton High School, and I wanted to be here for this. So yes, I have my Letterman jacket right here. Haven't worn it in a little while, but it looks good. It's warm and nice, and it's.
What'd you letter?
I lettered in debate. Yep. So I was I was a national debater here, and then French. And then seminary, which is kind of.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really great. And yours says 2002. Mine is from the 1900s. So at least it's recent in my book. That's awesome. So now we're going to have our current student officers introduce themselves.
I'm Dylan Elliott. I'm the student body president here.
And I'm Tessa Graham. I'm artist SBO.
Dylan, Tessa, what is your first reaction sitting across from three state representatives who used to be in your shoes?
I think it's awesome, and I think it shows that Silverwolves can produce such highly esteemed people. You know,
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's almost like a flexing moment for all of us to be like, they're Silverwolves.
It's a good flex for Riverton High. I don't know that there's another high school that can claim three current state representatives.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any in the legislature right now that have this many. Maybe rural Utah can pull out a couple, but not this many.
Yeah, well, if they are, then they're not saying anything.
That's
right. You got to represent. That's right.
Just doing the quick math here, so we got 75 representatives. So 3 out of the 75, that's 4% of the entire House is a Silverwolf. I think proportionally speaking,
Yeah,
we're punching above our weight.
4% came through this building. That's no small matter.
that is not.
That's a big deal.
Well, and we have some open seats coming up, so we'll just need to
we'll
find
see.
some more.
The most important question we will ask any candidate is, are you a Silverwolf?
It's about growing the Silverwolf Caucus. That's the important thing. Tell me, what questions do you have for our state representatives?
My first one is what's the biggest thing, or what thing do you notice the most that's you're still a Silverwolf? What reminds you the most that you'll do something in your day and you're that's because I'm a Silverwolf?
For me, when I think of high school, I think of the community, and I feel like it lays the foundation for a lot of students on thinking you can do anything in life. And When I think back on high school, I wish I could tell young Candice not to stress so much, but maybe it was good I did, because then I tried to achieve a lot of things. But just the sense of friendship that carries with you, that obviously we immediately all feel some camaraderie because of that, but also the awesome teachers here who you still want to check the board and see how many of them are here. But there are a lot of life lessons and fond memories as you walk through these doors that kind of takes you back. So
It's true.
yeah.
I'm not even going to try to top that because you said exactly what I was thinking, only way better.
Well, I'll tell you my thought. I started here in 2000, so this was the first year it opened. So I was a sophomore. It was brand new. We were trying to decide what are the traditions that we need to have. What will actually unite us as a school? Because we had people coming from all different high schools. Copper Hills High School, Bingham High School. They may have had some allegiances there, but we wanted to start off great. And so I hearken back to that. Anytime I have like a new project, it just reminds me of that idea of coming fresh into a new school, wanting to have good traditions, wanting to have, get off on the right foot.
That's cool you say that, because I was in 2010, which was the year before it split, off to go to Harriman High, and it was like everything was one last time, right, that we were all going to be together. So Silver Rush was huge, and like I remember the one last dance theme, and it was just really cool. And I think high school is terrifying for a lot of people, right? And you build relationships with people that you'll never forget. Or I still am best friends with my high school friends, and we keep tabs on each other. So it's really cool, the memories you make.
I have something that's not deep or philosophical like either of them, but I grew up in the neighborhood. We are just right behind the football stadium, so listening to the band practice and every Friday night listening to the announcers of the football game. Where I live now, I live just down the street from my community's high school, and I will say that every time I hear the band practicing, I go, oh, it takes me back. So.
There is something about the lights, the crisp air,
Yeah.
hearing that rat-a-tat, and the
Friday night
announcer is pretty exciting.
It's the last time it's socially acceptable to really paint your face and like pull your out of the game. It's awesome. I
absolutely
definitely
true.
painted my face.
There's license to do some things you can't do
Yeah,
later.
exactly.
That's for sure. Stay tuned. When we come back, find out more about how Riverton High School helped prepare these three legislators for public service.
Do you simply love learning online? We can't wait to have you join the amazing teachers in our brand new Jordan Virtual Learning Academy. In Jordan Virtual Learning Academy schools, we offer innovative, fun, and flexible online learning with daily real-time instruction from teachers. Enrollment is currently open for all K-12 students in Utah. Start on the path to personalized virtual learning success now at connect.jordandistrict.org. That's connect.jordandistrict.org.
We have Principal Carolyn Goff here with, I think, a few additions to the swag that you brought. So we'll let her talk about what she's
I was going to give it to these guys so we can present. Because look at this. We do offer a yearly pin, so that you can take advantage of the pin that we have for this year. And then this, because you mentioned that Silver Rush was such an integral part of your experience, we have our Silver Rush jug pins, and so we wanted to present you with those just as a token of our appreciation for the service that you get. We'll have to wear this up the hill. We will.
Yes, and then a shirt that says Riverton Pride of the Pack.
That's always a part of the Thank you. Thanks for representing us so well.
Very nice.
If you could wear that in a session, that'd be great.
What was like your thing in high school? Like, we have student government. Like, what was your thing, and how did it like prepare you for the position you have now?
Right. I was on the newspaper staff, and that was my thing. That was just I'm an observer. I'm a watcher. I'm a listener, and I just kind of learn by watching and listening to other people, which was very helpful going into this. I had no idea what I was walking into, and so I spent a lot of time just taking mental notes and watching and listening to things that are going on. On that same token, talking about relationships and such, I have a very good relationship with the former newspaper advisor, April Squires, and she's amazing, and we still talk to her all the time, and she tells me all the time, oh, you were my favorite life editor. So I'm sure she tells that to everybody, but no.
Life editor, was it Riverton Life? Is that what it was called?
The Silver Scribe. No, just the life page.
The life page,
We still have the Silver Scribe, yeah.
That's cool. Yep.
For me, I did peer leadership team, the National Honor Society. I did the FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America, and I did a cappella. And then I also had done, right, we got another singer in the room.
Tenor vice president.
Oh,
too,
okay,
so.
cool. All right, so I'm alto.
Okay.
But really loved my experience there. And I also, my senior year, did an internship at the state capitol, which totally changed my trajectory. And I also did the We the People competition. And so my teacher and advisor was Genesee Jacobson, who I still am in touch with. And that internship at the capitol changed my life. And that's where I decided I wanted to do something in government to make a difference. So it was really, really instrumental, I feel like, in me getting here.
Yeah, I'd say, I mentioned it before, debate. I mean, I was involved in a lot of different things, but that was definitely kind of the hallmark of what I focused my time in most. And, little known fact probably for most people here, but debate was the first trophy that Riverton actually won in anything. So we had a whole trophy case out here and nothing in it, and it was great to be able to put something in. So we were like the middle, and we kept adding to it, and over the years we kind of had to fight with football and cheer and other people that wanted to kind of move debate to the side and say this is more for athletics. But we enjoyed it. We actually competed really well and had a great program.
What would you say to current high school students who are maybe considering whether they could or should get involved in politics down the line?
I'll say, a lot of my political interest started when I was in high school. I was getting involved in an AP political science class, learning about the system, and getting challenged to show up to a caucus meeting, and it was a scary type thing. And so I think that's the biggest advice that I can give to any high schoolers. Get involved. I mean, especially at this age, there's clubs and classes, and even just coming up to the Capitol and spending some time with your elected official to just learn how the process happens. That will put you in a really good situation in the future to be able to jump into public service when the opportunity presents itself.
I would say half of the effort you need to be involved is just showing up. And so I would encourage students to start getting engaged now and actually take your government course seriously. If you can, jump on a campaign. There's no minimum age to help on a campaign and knock doors or deliver flyers. I'd say definitely reach out to one of us about doing an internship. If you're a senior, we can always try and pull some strings, get you up there for a fellow Silverwolf, but also not letting your age stop you. I think you can see we're all millennials up here. For those of you who are listening, we're all millennials, and having different age groups provides different perspectives and diversity in the legislature that I think is really helpful. So I'd say jump on in and don't hold back.
Yeah. Although on that same token, but a different way, I agree with Candice. Don't let your age hold you back. I was not involved politically at all until I ran for office. So, it was weird and it was scary and it was exciting starting something that I had absolutely zero experience in. And so when I did it, and I think everybody else should do it too.
So what do you guys think the state of the politics are today, and how can we work together to be better?
I think we have to learn, again, as a culture, as a society, to disagree civilly. And I think it starts in AP government when people start formulating opinions and you get to be able to share your own and realize that just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean they're evil. It just means they have a different opinion. And I feel like I've developed a great friendship with Ashlee, who sits across the ideological aisle. But my goodness, apart from being legislators and a Republican and Democrat, we're both moms and friends and able to talk about things that we all care about, right? And so I think we have to do a better job of getting off social media, getting out of our echo chambers and learning to interact with people and learning to meet them as people before we do their ideology. And it makes the negotiating process that much better because you're able to find common ground on what you can agree on, which is the best way to create policy.
Yeah, I think Candice hit the nail on the head. It's all about finding people that you disagree with and having those conversations. And too much today, people either are afraid to have the conversation or they're being told not to, right? They're saying, we need to alienate ourselves from those people who are across the aisle who may believe differently than we do. So the more that we can reach out to, people who have different opinions and have the discussion and try to understand why they believe that way and not necessarily try to change their opinion, but just seek to understand, we'll be in a much better spot.
And for me, the biggest struggle that I had, I guess, starting is just making sure to always keep the people separate from the work. Because like Candice said, like, from a political standpoint, I feel like all three of us are on very, very different places, but as people, we are, like you said, that we have way more in common than not. So it's easier to not take things personally, right? If they disagree with something that I say or they vote against the bill, I don't take that personally because I know that it's not intended to be personal. It's just we can leave from a discussion where we disagreed with everything, and we can say, oh dang, oh I saw that picture of you, on Facebook, and oh wow, your kids are so cute. Oh, what are you doing for Halloween? And so.
And that kind of reminded me of something, so I want to ask a question. We recently asked a bunch of people, like, why is Silver Rush your favorite thing, or why do you think Riverton has a thing? And they said it's because, like, everyone forgets who they are and they just become one and they get along with everyone. And you think there's some part of Silver Rush that helps you to build that assessment as you go further? You've seen that for 3 years in the month of December, everyone's one group body and their Silverwolves is what make them the same. Do you think that has affected in a positive way the rest of your lives?
Yeah, I have a distinct memory of when we were knocking doors. It was snowing, we were flipping cold, but we were having so much fun. And I remember I was with the SBO president, I was with a drama student, there was a football player and a wrestling player, and it was like, when else in high school, other than at lunch, when you bump into each other, are you all thrown together for the same cause? And how much fun we had. And you got to know people at a different level, and especially when you're performing, right, you're performing tasks or jobs or shoveling snow. And at that point, like, all your labels just drop to the ground, and you're just people. So I definitely think that's a big lesson. And I think our country has had those moments, not to extrapolate this, but if you think about World War II or getting a man on the moon, or, we have moments where we let labels fall and we all get together, and I think that's when our country's at its best. And that's when Riverton High is at its best. There's a difference in the air. I remember walking around just feeling lighter during Silver Rush, and I feel like a lot of people feel that way.
And it carries with you, too. You take that forever, because, none of us have been here for a very long time, but you asked us what our favorite thing was, and I think we all said Silver Rush was our favorite thing, the thing that we missed most, and when we were the happiest and the most proud being here. And it's you won't forget that feeling.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Supercast. Join us tomorrow for a bonus episode featuring the Silverwolf Caucus. And remember, education is the most important thing you'll do today. We'll see you out there.